Not everyone who wants to walk with you is meant to sit at your table. This simple truth can change the way you live, the way you love, and the way you protect your peace. Because life is not about how many people surround you, but about who you choose to let close. Some people come with kindness, wisdom, and love, while others bring doubt, fear, and heaviness. And if you are not intentional about who you welcome into your circle, you will find yourself drained, distracted, and distant from the person you are meant to be. Your table is not just a place. It is your heart, your energy, your dreams, your story. It is where your future is shaped and your soul is nourished. Every conversation, every voice, every presence at your table has the power to either lift you higher or pull you lower. That is why it matters so deeply to choose wisely, to open your seat to those who see your light and protect it, and to gently close the space to those who cannot honor it. This is not about rejection. This is not about arrogance. This is about love, the kind of love that begins with yourself. When you learn to protect your table, you are not pushing people away. You are honoring the sacredness of your own journey. You are saying, my peace matters. My dreams matter. My heart matters. And that declaration is not selfish. It is brave. Too many of us grow up believing that to be kind, we must say yes to everyone. That to be generous, we must give endlessly. That to be loving, we must allow anyone who asks to sit beside us. But kindness without boundaries is exhaustion. Generosity without wisdom is emptiness. Love without discernment is pain. Real strength is found in the courage to be selective, in the wisdom to know that your time, your heart, your dreams are not for everyone, but for the right ones. So as we begin this journey together, I want to invite you into a new way of thinking. Imagine your life as a beautiful table, full of promise and purpose. Around it sit the people who share your laughter, who encourage your growth, who celebrate your victories, and who sit quietly with you in moments of struggle. Now ask yourself, who is at my table today, and do they deserve to be here? That question, if you dare to answer it honestly, can transform everything about the way you live. Because the truth is this, not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And the moment you understand that, you step into a new kind of freedom. Freedom to say no without guilt. Freedom to protect your energy without apology. Freedom to live a life that is filled with meaning, instead of noise. That is the journey we are about to take together. And by the end, you will not only understand it, you will feel empowered to live it. Your table is more than just a metaphor. It is the center of your life. It represents your time, your energy, your values, your relationships, and your dreams. It is where decisions are made, where trust is built, where your heart is either nourished or broken. Every person who sits there has influence over you. Whether you realize it or not, their words shape the way you see yourself, their energy affects the way you feel, and their presence impacts the way you move forward. That is why your table matters more than you think. When the wrong people sit at your table, their voices can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They make you question your worth, your abilities, your purpose. Slowly, you begin to shrink yourself to fit their comfort. You find yourself silencing your dreams so they don't feel small. You begin to carry their fears as if they are your own. Without even realizing it, your table becomes a place of heaviness instead of strength, a place of comparison instead of celebration. But when the right people sit with you, everything feels different. They don't compete with you. They cheer for you. They don't drain your energy. They fill it. They don't make you doubt your worth. They remind you of it. Around the right people, your table becomes a place of laughter, encouragement, vision, and safety. You leave those conversations feeling lighter, stronger, and more certain of who you are. That is the power of protecting your table. It is not about shutting people out. It is about choosing carefully who you let close. Think of it like this. Your life is a garden, and your table is the soil. If the soil is weak, nothing grows. If the soil is poisoned, everything withers. But if the soil is rich, everything planted there flourishes. The people you allow into your life are like seeds planted in your soil. Some will bring weeds that choke your growth, while others will bring flowers that bloom with beauty. Which ones are you allowing to stay? Your table also matters because it sets the tone for your future. The dreams you chase, the risks you take, the faith you carry, these are all influenced by the people who sit with you. If your table is full of doubters, you will learn to doubt yourself. If your table is full of complainers, you will start to see only problems instead of possibilities. But if your table is full of believers, encouragers, and visionaries, you will learn to dream bigger, to rise higher, to trust more deeply in what is possible. And here is something important to remember: your table is limited. You cannot give everyone a seat. You cannot stretch yourself thin trying to feed every appetite, trying to meet every demand, trying to please every person who shows up. If you do, you will find yourself exhausted, with nothing left for the people who truly matter. That is why protecting your table is not an act of selfishness, but of stewardship. You are taking care of what is sacred. You are honoring your time, your heart, and your calling. The people at your table do not just share space with you, they shape you. Their words become part of your thoughts. Their values seep into your decisions. Their attitudes influence your actions. That is why it is so important to ask yourself, again and again, who am I allowing to sit with me, and how are they shaping my life? Because your table is where your future begins. And maybe the hardest part is this: sometimes the people you love most are not the ones who should sit closest to you. Sometimes the ones you've known longest are the ones who cannot handle your growth. Sometimes the ones who want to stay at your table the loudest are the very ones who shouldn't be there at all. That realization is painful, but it is also freeing. Because once you understand that not everyone deserves a seat, you stop apologizing for protecting what is sacred. Your table matters because you matter. Your peace matters. Your energy matters. Your future matters. And when you honor your table, you are declaring to the world and to yourself that you are worthy of love, respect, and protection. That choice will not just change who sits with you, it will change the entire direction of your life. The truth is, saying yes to everyone comes with a cost. At first, it might feel easier. You avoid conflict, you avoid hurting feelings. You avoid the discomfort of saying no. But over time, that constant yes begins to chip away at you. It drains your energy, clouds your clarity, and steals your peace. The cost of letting everyone sit at your table is that there is no room left for you. Think about how often we fill our lives with people who demand but rarely give, who criticize but rarely build, who take but never pour back. We convince ourselves that if we just keep giving, if we just keep saying yes, eventually they will see our worth. But what happens? Instead of feeling valued, we feel invisible. Instead of feeling connected, we feel used. And the worst part is, we start blaming ourselves, as if being depleted means we didn't give enough. The reality is, we were simply giving to the wrong people. When you let everyone sit at your table, your dreams become secondary. You sacrifice your goals to make others comfortable. You silence your voice so theirs can be louder. You put their needs above your own until you forget what you even wanted in the first place. And little by little, you begin to lose yourself in the process. That is the heavy cost of letting everyone in. It's not just your energy that gets drained, it's your identity. Sometimes the cost shows up in your mental health. You feel anxious because you're constantly trying to please everyone. You feel exhausted because you're carrying problems that don't belong to you. You feel discouraged because every time you try to rise, someone at your table pulls you back down. The weight of it all doesn't just affect your heart. It affects your mind, your spirit, even your body. Stress, fatigue, burnout. These are all signs that your table is too crowded with the wrong voices. Other times, the cost shows up in missed opportunities. While you're busy tending to people who do not value you, you miss the doors that were opening for you. While you're consumed with the noise of negativity, you miss the quiet whisper of possibility. While you're giving energy to relationships that are one-sided, you miss the chance to build with people who would have celebrated you. The wrong company doesn't just steal your peace, it steals your future. But here's the hardest truth. When you let everyone sit at your table, you also teach them how to treat you. If you allow people to take without giving, they will keep taking. If you allow people to speak negativity into your dreams, they will keep speaking. If you allow people to disrespect your boundaries, they will keep crossing them. People learn how to treat you by watching what you tolerate. And if you tolerate too much, you end up paying the price for it. I know this is not easy to hear, because most of us want to be kind. We want to be generous. We want to be loving. But love without limits is not sustainable. Generosity without boundaries is not healthy. Kindness without wisdom is not safe. Protecting your table doesn't mean you love less. It means you love smarter. It means you give with intention instead of out of obligation. It means you share your heart with those who will honor it, not trample on it. The cost of letting everyone in is simply too high. You cannot afford to keep paying it with your peace, your dreams, your joy, your identity. At some point, you must decide that the price is no longer worth it. And when you make that decision, something powerful happens. You begin to reclaim your energy. You begin to rediscover your voice. You begin to rebuild your confidence. And most importantly, you create space for the right people, the ones who will not just sit at your table, but bring something beautiful to it. So the question is not, what will it cost me to say no? The real question is, what is it costing me to keep saying yes? Because your table is too sacred, your life is too important, and your future is too valuable to keep paying a price that leaves you empty. There is a quiet kind of power that comes when you learn to say, not the sharp no that cuts people off, not the defensive no that carries anger, but the graceful no that comes from a place of self-respect. For so many of us, the word no feels heavy, almost unkind. We worry that if we say it, people will think we are selfish, cold, or uncaring. But the truth is, no can be one of the most loving words you ever speak. Because when you say no to what drains you, you are saying yes to what sustains you. Think about how often we say yes when our hearts are screaming no. We say yes to favors we don't have time for. We say yes to conversations that steal our peace. We say yes to relationships that are already breaking us. We say yes not because we want to, but because we're afraid of disappointing someone else. And yet, every time we betray our own boundaries for the comfort of others, we chip away at our own joy. We end up tired, resentful, and disconnected from ourselves. Saying no with grace changes that. It is not a rejection of others. It is a protection of self. It is a declaration that your energy matters, your peace matters, your time matters. It is not about pushing people away, but about making space for the right things, the right people, the right opportunities. No is not the end of love. It is the beginning of healthier love, the kind that is built on respect instead of resentment. The power of no is also in the freedom it gives you. When you stop saying yes out of fear, you start saying yes with intention. You say yes to what aligns with your values. You say yes to what brings you joy. You say yes to what moves you closer to your dreams. And suddenly, your life feels lighter, clearer, more purposeful, because your yes is no longer scattered. It is sacred. And here's something beautiful. When you learn to say no, you also teach others how to love you better. People begin to understand where your limits are, and the ones who truly care will honor them. The ones who don't, well, their distance is not a loss. It's clarity. Every no filters your circle, making sure that only the ones who truly respect you remain at your table. Saying no with grace doesn't have to be harsh. Sometimes it's as simple as, I can't right now, but thank you for thinking of me. Sometimes it's, that doesn't work for me, but I appreciate the invitation. Sometimes it's just silence, a gentle pulling back from spaces where you no longer belong. The tone may be soft, but the message is strong. I honor myself enough to protect my peace. And let's be honest, at first it feels uncomfortable. Your voice may shake, your heart may race, you may second-guess yourself 100 times. But with every no you speak, you become stronger. With every boundary you protect, you become braver. With every act of self-respect, you become freer. What once felt impossible soon becomes natural, and what once filled you with fear now fills you with peace. The truth is, your yes means nothing if you never learn to say no. A yes that comes from guilt or fear is not love, it is survival. But a yes that comes from freedom, from clarity, from alignment, that yes has power. And the only way to reach that yes is to guard it with no. So if you have been living your life at the mercy of everyone else's demands, if you have been stretching yourself thin just to keep others happy, if you have been afraid to speak that small but powerful word, let this be your reminder. Saying no is not cruel. It is kind. It is kind to your future. It is kind to your dreams. It is kind to your soul. And the kinder you are to yourself, the more love you will have to share with the world. No is not the end. It is the doorway to a life filled with intentional yeses. And once you step through that doorway, you will never want to go back. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. But that doesn't mean your table is meant to stay empty. Life is richer when it is shared with people who bring light, who lift you higher, who walk beside you with honesty and love. The question is not whether to let people in. The question is who deserves that sacred space. The people who deserve a seat are the ones who celebrate you without jealousy. They don't feel smaller when you shine. They don't compare your success to their own. Instead, they clap loudly when you win and remind you of your worth when you doubt yourself. Their joy for you is genuine because your victories feel like victories for them too. These are the voices that make your table a place of celebration rather than competition. The people who deserve a seat are also those who encourage your growth. They are not threatened by your dreams. They are inspired by them. They remind you of your potential when you forget. They challenge you with love not to break you, but to build you. They are the ones who say, I see more in you than you see in yourself, and I will not let you settle for less. When they sit at your table, you rise higher simply because they believe in you. Then there are those who bring peace instead of chaos. Life is already full of storms. You don't need to invite more into your home, into your heart. The people who deserve a seat are the ones whose presence feels like calm water on restless waves. They listen without judgment. They respect your boundary. They remind you that you are safe, valued, and loved. Around them, your soul can breathe. And that kind of peace is priceless. Consistency is another mark of those who belong at your table. Anyone can show up when the table is full, when there's laughter, abundance, and joy. But who sits with you when the table is empty? Who stays when all you have to offer are tears and silence? The ones who remain in those moments. The ones who choose presence over convenience. Those are the people who prove their love, not with words, but with loyalty. And loyalty in today's world is rare. The people who deserve a seat also respect your values. They may not share every belief you hold, but they honor who you are. They don't pressure you to compromise your standards. They don't mock your conviction. They don't force you to betray yourself in order to be loved. Instead, they stand beside you, even if their path looks different, because respect is the foundation of true connection. And here's something important to remember. The right people don't just take from your table. They bring something to it. They bring wisdom, laughter, encouragement, and truth. They add value to your life instead of draining it. They give as much as they receive. They invest in your growth the way you invest in theirs. With the right people, your table becomes a place of abundance, a space where everyone leaves more full than when they arrived. But you cannot invite the right people until you make space for them. If your table is crowded with voices that tear you down, there will be no room left for those who lift you up. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is not in adding people to your circle, but in removing those who don't belong. Clearing your table creates room for the blessings waiting to arrive. So who truly deserves a seat at your table? Those who love you without conditions. Those who push you to grow without tearing you down. Those who bring peace to your storms. Those who stay when things get hard. Those who respect your values and add value to your life. These are the people worth holding close. The ones worth protecting. The ones who will walk with you into the future. Because in the end, the people at your table shape the person you become. Choose them with wisdom. Honor them with gratitude. And never forget, you deserve to be surrounded by love, not noise, by encouragement, not competition, by peace, not chaos. Fill your table with those who deserve to sit there, and your life will never be the same. So here we are at the end of this conversation, but hopefully at the beginning of a new chapter in your life. We started with one simple truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And maybe as you've listened, you felt something stir inside you, a realization, a quiet knowing, a recognition of where this truth has shown up in your own life. The truth is, we all have a table, and for too long, many of us have allowed anyone to sit down without ever asking if they bring love, peace, and encouragement, or if they bring doubt, chaos, and harm. We've been taught that being kind means always saying yes, that being loving means never setting boundaries. But today, I want you to hear this. Protecting your table is not selfish. It is wise, it is necessary, it is love in its purest form, the kind that begins with yourself. Think about this. Your table is where your future is being written. Every word you hear, every conversation you allow, every person you keep close has the power to shape you. If you surround yourself with people who speak life, who believe in you, who remind you of your worth, your table becomes a place of growth and hope. But if you allow people who criticize, who diminish, who poison your peace, then your table becomes a place of struggle, and your spirit begins to wither. This is why it matters. This is why you must choose wisely. Because your table is not just about today, it is about tomorrow, and the day after, and the life you are building one choice at a time. I want to remind you of something powerful. You are not responsible for keeping everyone comfortable. You are not responsible for making space for people who cannot honor who you are. You are responsible for protecting your heart, your energy, and your purpose. And that responsibility is not a burden. It is a gift. Imagine your life if you only gave seats at your table to people who truly deserve them. Imagine the joy of sitting with friends who celebrate your wins, mentors who challenge you to grow, loved ones who offer peace when life feels heavy. Imagine what you could create, what you could dream, what you could become if your table was filled only with those who add light instead of taking it away. That life is possible, but it begins with courage. The courage to say no, the courage to let go, and the courage to protect your table. Now, maybe you're listening and thinking, this is hard. How do I say no? How do I let go? And yes, it is hard. Saying no will sometimes make people unhappy. Setting boundaries may make others uncomfortable. But every time you protect your peace, you are choosing love over fear, strength over weakness, freedom over guilt. And that is worth it, every single time. So as we close, I want to leave you with this gentle invitation. Take a moment this week to reflect on your table. Look around at the voices you've allowed close. Ask yourself who truly deserves to stay and who no longer does. You don't need to make every decision at once. You don't need to confront everyone immediately. Just start with awareness. Start with honesty. Start with love for yourself and for the future you are building. Because when you learn to protect your table, everything changes. Your heart feels lighter. Your dreams feel clearer. Your life feels freer. You no longer waste energy on people who do not value you. Instead, you invest in those who see you, love you, and encourage you to rise. And so I'll say it one last time. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, but the ones who do, cherish them, celebrate them, hold them close, because they are the ones who will walk with you into the life you were always meant to live.